Arthaus. Let's begin. This is Arthaus. Today we have the master of holistic health, of esoteric biology, of neuroscience, and all the subdisciplines that I did not list, and that is Grimhood. Grimhood.
Good morning.
He is a he's a master at what he does. I'm consistently blown away by the amount of stuff that I see every day. Literally, I don't say this for everyone. Literally every single day, I learn something new from his feed, even if it's really small, something to do with some microbiology thing that I don't fully understand. I still learn something new every day. So, Graham, how you doing?
Pretty good. Just getting my morning started. What about you?
Yeah, just had a late morning. I kind of woke up and suffered through some non-fat yogurt, but we're here now and everything's okay. Everything's good. So, Grim, the reason you are here today is to explain to the good people about holistic health. And a lot of people following this might already have a good understanding of holistic health, but I bet a lot of people don't. I bet a lot of people think that, you know, when you get sick, you should go to the doctor. When you get sick, you should go get some pills. When you get sick, you know, your lifestyle and stuff, that isn't really, that it's not really part of that. It's all very compartmentalized. So what is holistic health and how do you approach health as a concept yourself?
So now that we've established that Western or American medicine has essentially no concept of holistic or preventative medicine, um, in Eastern cultures, holistic applies to diet in all of its nuances, meditation and prayer, sunlight, sleep, socializing, exercise, physical activity, and then um, once you have a foundation established, you can start working with the specific herbal medicines that are proper for your biology, and you can just essentially level up your health massively. Like it's really the potential is immense, and it's incomparable to what we're currently experiencing with the uh, current modern medicine world.
Well, and you have quite a bit of experience yourself coming back from severe trauma, severe medical issues. And do you want to drop a little bit of insight on kind of what those were and kind of like if what do you think would have happened if you never went down the holistic health route and just stayed like in the Western medical system?
So I was diagnosed at 15 with paranoid schizophrenia. I had suffered with depression, anxiety, all that for since I was very, very young. It was just never uh, appointed to any issues whatsoever. It was just like a normal thing. So I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I was medicated, and it triggered a series of psychotic episodes where I was hospitalized, and I was put on a bunch of medications. It felt completely toxic. I went cold turkey off of them. It was a whole disaster. It completely wrecked my health. I ended up back in the psych ward,
Mm.
and this went on for about 10 years, or about 8, maybe 9 years. I just I resorted to polysubstance addiction to manage my symptoms because the medications that I was prescribed were just completely ineffective. And I essentially became so malnourished. I started like a vegetarian vegan diet, and that was like the trigger for my essential downfall. But I kindled my brain to the point of epilepsy. And then during my first grand mal seizure, I induced hypoxic traumatic brain injury, and
Jeez.
they recovered. I was displaying symptoms of early onset dementia. I was just completely non-functional. It was unimaginably horrible. But through the combination of diet and holistic health, and then the herbal medicines that I talk about so often on my Twitter feed, I made a miraculous recovery. Well, miraculous in comparison to what we currently know is possible. I really do believe that the human body is incredibly resilient, and it's capable of recovering from much more than we currently know.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, I didn't know it went down that far. It seemed like every step there was a new just horrible downfall for you, and it seems like just the basics of a good diet and proper supplementation and obviously some lifestyle changes probably
Yes.
made a big difference, right?
Yes, most definitely. For a lot of the psychiatric disorders, it has to do with the diet that you're consuming. So eliminating these inflammatory factors without very much nutrition, and then repleting these depleted nutrients that have become so depleted over time. Um, it, these psychiatric and neurological symptoms, they manifest from these nutritional deficiencies, and they can easily be resolved um, with the repletion of these nutrients. These nutrients can mimic the pharmacology of a lot of the medications that are prescribed without the side effects and the dependency and all that crap.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that's possible to us.
What are some you talked about inflammation right there, and inflammation seems to be like a root of a very large portion of these diseases and issues that pop up with people. What are some types of intakes that people do, yeah, people have on the regular basis that can severely contribute to inflammation, neuroinflammation, all that stuff?
So I've compiled a list of inflammatory foods that I've noticed between my own work and then communicating with a whole range of different people with different biologies. And the primary contributing factors are sucrose or sugar, refined sugar specifically,
Mm.
refined fructose, so like high fructose corn syrup, um, uh, simple carbs. So that means very rapidly digested, like bread. Um, there's some like very simple carbs that aren't digested properly
Like
because they're not
does
prepared properly.
rice fall in that category?
It's very complicated with the rice. It depends on your physical activity and then the nutrients, specifically B vitamins. So uh, there's a B vitamin called thiamine, and it's essential in all carb metabolism. So if you're deficient in this, your body is not going to be able to process these carbs,
Mm.
and it's going to create a very inflammatory trigger. No matter your macronutrient ratio that you consume.
Right.
Um, and then there's like alcohol. Most recreational drugs are highly inflammatory. This includes caffeine as well.
Mm.
Um, the majority of grains are not properly prepared how our ancestors used to prepare them, so they are also inflammatory. A lot of nuts, legumes are also inflammatory to the gut via lectin.
So,
And
from what I can tell so far, that leaves that the foods you can basically eat now are meat, seafood, vegetables, and fruits.
there's some seeds that you can easily soak without going through the whole process of soaking, sprouting, fermenting, and then cooking, like
Mm.
with the beans and the grains that our ancestors used to do.
Right. Now, when it comes, like, what seed is that? Because I eat sunflower seeds a lot, and
Sunflower seeds are best soaked, but like chia seeds, hemp seeds,
yeah,
flax seeds,
okay.
these are going to be the most optimal seeds that you consume.
Mhm.
Um, the majority of people should practice soaking them for at least a 24-hour period so they're more easily digested and you gain the nutrients from them.
Now, you said you were once vegan, plant-based, all that stuff, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And when you started adding meat back in your diet, and we're not talking like when we say meat, we mean really good meat. We're talking like good organic, right, ground beef, good steaks, stuff like
Yes.
that. We're not talking about deli ham. We're not talking about Johnsonville sausages, right?
Yeah. Or like there's nuance to the meat qualities. A lot of the factory farm commercial animals, they are essentially toxic with pesticides, herbicides, fungicides.
Right.
grain-based diet, antibiotics. It's a mess with these factory farms. So sticking to local organic meats or wild caught for seafoods is truly the way to go, and your health can massively improve with the intake alone.
Right. What are the so I've seen you tweet your diet almost every day, what you're eating that day. Can you run down what you're planning on eating today and how that like and kind of the philosophy why?
I started my morning with some raw eggs, some which contain choline, cholesterol, a whole profile of amino acids.
Raw egg
And
nationalism, everybody. Grimhood approves.
um, they're non-oxidized, so they're absorbed very, very well. And then also a whole range of B vitamins in the yolks. So I started off my morning with the raw eggs, followed by goat kefir. The enzymes in the kefir help to digest the raw eggs and utilize the nutrients. I followed that with some butter, cultured butter, and then black seed oil, which is highly anti-inflammatory, and then it also helps to contribute to ketosis. Yeah,
My girlfriend, she left her black seed oil at my house and I've been taking it every day and I like it. I like it.
it it's really one of the best medicines that I've come across. It's really, really it in Middle Eastern culture is considered the cure for everything except death. So it's the benefits are
Pretty
innumerable.
good, yeah.
For the rest of my diet today, I'm probably going to be having some wild caught salmon, organic steak, and then I'll have like bison with some raw egg yolks for dinner. Uh, my diet is primarily high fat, high protein,
Hmm.
and very low carb. Since I'm epileptic now, I try to stick to ketosis.
Right. Do you so you have two meals and they're very spaced apart. Is that what I can understand?
Yeah, it's at least 3 or 4 hours spaced apart, so that way that it's digested properly.
Hmm. Right. Do you think when it comes to like bodybuilding and like trying to gain weight as much as possible, and I know that you're currently in the process right now of trying to regain lost weight from that period of malnutrition, and you often hear about eat 5 or 6 small meals a day. What do you think about that compared to sort of the more spaced meals that you're kind of implementing?
That has to do with the inflammation and then the digestive process.
Mm.
Um, it can become very overloaded with that many meals without the time for the digestive system to clear and digest all those foods. Um, I've noticed at least 2 or 3 meals a day is optimal. More so than that is not really. Uh, I'm sure people get results from it, but like long term for brain and gut health, it's not optimal to be eating that much every single day.
What I've noticed myself is now I used to eat like 5 meals a day and it was awful. But now yeah, now what I'm doing is like what I found is that the less I eat, the better I can focus on work and the better I feel. So I'm focusing now on just eating 3 meals a day and I'm spending my time just like I'm taking that cooking time as meditation. I'm just leaving my work and I'm just focusing on making that food as calorically dense but also nutritious as possible. And then I eat it, and then I have a bunch of energy because I'm not eating, like you said, I cut out sugar for this entire month, not eating as much bread, bunch of stuff that I've got from following you, and I'm feeling way better, way better. Cut down my pasta a whole bunch.
It really makes a difference in uh, more so than you'd imagine because you're in such an inflammatory state that any small difference without a drastic change does not really dent that level of inflammation.
Mhm.
So removing or eliminating all these triggers that are causing this inflammation has a massive potential on the health.
When it comes to, so say somebody comes up to you and they're eating, maybe they cut out like we already talked about, they cut out the sucrose and stuff. Say they're eating meat and whatnot, and the diet's pretty good and they're exercising, but they need like they need that extra little bit that you can get from supplementation. And as we know, our soil's really depleted from minerals, and there's, we don't get everything in our food. So what are some good supplement options that people can take, kind of more just like general options, because obviously there's so many nuances to what people need and whatnot like that. But what are some like general options that people can take?
So, some of the general supplements that I will typically recommend are magnesium in multiple forms, preferably. That's going to be a major one because our diet throughout the modern American society, with the standard American diet, it's been very, very high in calcium. And
Mm-hmm.
then with the high sugar and everything, magnesium is rapidly depleted. So
Mm-hmm.
we've been left in a very deficient state. So repleting this magnesium is very, very important due to the numerous the mechanisms that it's involved in. And then a good B complex and activated B complex would be optimal. Thiamine, I've been tweeting a lot about this one. It's used in the metabolism of fats, carbs, and proteins. It's essential in the utilization of every single nutrient. Like it's really, really important to the entire human body. And then all the B vitamins work in conjunction with each other. They're cofactors for each other. So the combination of all of them is most optimal. Vitamin D, if you get low sunlight or a very high blue light exposure, like if you work with technology, vitamin D would be a good thing to supplement with, obviously with K2, so it's absorbed properly. Um,
Oh, I didn't know that. What is with vitamin K? What's the
Vitamin K2, vitamin D, high supplementation will sap the calcium from the bones and the
hmm.
joints without magnesium and vitamin K2, and then boron and vitamin A as well. Calcium is not absorbed properly, so it
Hmm.
accumulates in soft tissue, and then that creates inflammation in the body.
Right.
Um, with proper vitamin D, vitamin K, vitamin A, and then magnesium and boron, the calcium is utilized into the skeleton matrix or the bone matrix. So it's
Wow.
utilized how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Wow. Did not know that. The more you learn.
It's very, very important, like in osteoporosis,
Yeah.
a lot of calcification of the arteries and all of that.
Well, my mom has issues with her knee, and she does get a fair amount of sunlight and whatnot, but she's never supplemented with vitamin K before.
There's an older woman that is a neighbor of mine. I recently told her to begin implementing grass-fed beef and grass-fed butter.
Mm-hmm.
This is higher in K2 than the majority of foods. It has to be grass-fed.
Mm.
And her health has massively, massively improved. She's having less joint pain, less bone pain. She's just feeling less fragile.
Yeah.
She feels like she's more powerful.
Yeah. Very, very much. Yeah. I'll, I'm gonna drop that info to my mom. Get yourself some grass-fed beef, grass-fed butter. Now, when it comes to the future with this, like how do you want to be pushing this holistic health? Like, what's your end goal for sharing all this knowledge and whatnot?
So my goal, after what I have experienced in life, and after having lost my best friend to addiction, I've been my long-term goal is trying to give people that have suffered similarly a second chance at life, because I was fully convinced that I had no other options in life. I before I met my mentor and began learning all this information about nutrition, biology, and herbalism, I was strongly considering suicide because I felt like I had no options. Medications were not effective.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe I'm the only one that has ever experienced anything like this. I believe it's a lot more common, especially with psychiatric disorders or neurological disorders, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just really want to help people.
Yeah.
There's too much suffering in this world, and people are so negatively impacted by Western medicine at this time. Things need to change, and More so in the future, I'd like to begin implementing like personalized genetic medicine. So that means analyzing your gene scan and
Mm,
then basing the nutrition and herbal medicines off of your individual genetics. The potential for this is like everything else. It's been crazy. Um, I've been able to analyze some people's gene scans and just totally um, before they even go to their doctor for blood panels. I've been able to identify exactly what nutrients they're deficient in, what uh, what issues they're struggling with in terms of biochemistry. So like low GABA, low dopamine, how to resolve that with nutrients and herbal medicines.
mm.
It just it doesn't even compare to what we're doing now with medicine.
Wow. Wow. Well, that sounds absolutely incredible, and I wouldn't want any other man at the helm of that movement right there. And just to cap it off, what you said right there about um how a lot more people probably are in your have been in shoes that you were in right now with epilepsy, with malnutrition and whatnot, but they don't know that there's another path, and that they're just doomed to suffer and doomed to die because they don't have the light at the end of the tunnel. All they have is just the never ending darkness of the American medical system, and there has to be another way, and you're showing the other way.
Yep,
Grim,
exactly.
it has been an absolute honor to have you on Arthaus. Do you have anything you'd like to say to cap off this cast?
Thank you for having me, and I love all you guys. Thank you for everything and supporting me every single day.
There we go. Grimhood, everyone. We'll talk to you guys later.